calling clinical proof of concept.
For our final presentation, we basically put together a pitch to investors, but part of what that includes is what the technology really means and what the technology is that we're developing and why it's compelling scientifically, but also as a business venture. So talking about the technology on a theoretical level to preclinical data to clinical data that needs to be generated to a strategy for commercialization and funding.
You know, these students, when they begin, when you first meet them, when they're first beginning on their projects, they're little bit lost, which is understandable. They're not experts, and they're undergraduate students. When you see them at the end, this is among the finest presentations I see. In my business, I have the opportunity to speak to a lot of executives of biotech and medtech companies, and this is every bit as good as the best that I see.
The presentations are always good, they're always diverse, they always cover different sectors of the industry. There's always a molecule, there's always a device, there's always a genetic therapy. They're really trained from the beginning to be ambidextrous in both business and science, and it shows.
So our project was focused on a gene therapy for HIV treatment so that patients wouldn't have to take their daily antiretrovirals every day. We worked closely with our scientific founder, Dr. Phil Johnson at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, to really identify the key scientific literature that we needed to read to learn more about the technology. And then once we moved on to more of the clinical trial design, we contacted a lot of key leaders in the industry who had experience designing clinical trials and running clinical trials for many decades.
Ultimately, you learn truly by doing something and putting it into practice. And in this class, that's the entire premise which led us to these presentations. We were given the base knowledge, we were given the lectures and all the material we needed, but in order to synthesize that and bring it into a presentation where we apply all of that was a complete unique experience, which I did not get in many of my other classes, and I felt was a great learning experience.
These are the best and brightest students. And we actually connect them not only with people who are on the advisory board, but other people who actually might have expertise in the scientific area of interest that they're looking at for their asset, or actually people who have broad experience across the business, the regulatory landscape, in just a variety of different ways.
I think the thing that blows me away is the poise and the insight that they bring when they address the questions that come from the audience. And their perception of what they're working on is a truly integrated approach. So they are cognizant of both the scientific and clinical as well as the business end of things. And that's quite unusual in someone so young.
So when I was asked to lead the Capstone class, I told the directors of the program that it was important to me that we start real companies, that we work on real projects, and that the engagement of the healthcare ecosystem be a centerpiece of the class. And so, in a very real way, the class is beginning to shape the future of healthcare.